Welcome to the AI Beehive Podcast, Real Estate and Mortgage Pros. This is your buzz for smarter tech, faster deals, and less grind. Let's get started.
Well, hey there. Welcome to another episode of the AI Beehive. My name is Ginger Bell. I have my co-host, George Chevalier.
Hello, everybody.
And I am so excited to introduce our special guest today. I have known for a very long time, Mr. Jason Crawford. So I want to give some props here because for those of you who are listening who may not know Jason, Jason is the Chief Operating Officer. And this is big because it's not just a little company. Jason, the organization that you have worked with is 4 times Inc. 5000 private, fastest growing company out of all the real estate companies. So let's unpack. I mean, first of all, not just once, not just twice, not just 3 times, but 4 times. That does not happen by accident, my friend. So hats off to you.
Definitely.
And that's why I was so excited when you agreed to come on to our podcast, because every time you and I sit down and had a conversation, I'm always just blown by what comes out of your mind. I mean, we geek out together. Like, honestly, we could just spend 4 hours. In fact, I'm sorry, audience, we're probably going to forget you're even here. But you're going to love this conversation. I know you have a YouTube channel. It's called The Real Estate Academy. We'll make sure and give that contact information so you can connect with Jason. But Jason, welcome.
Thank you. And kudos to you, Ginger, for actually getting that title out. Inc. 5000, private fastest growing companies 4 times. That's kind of a mouthful, right? So try putting that on a resume.
Yeah.
But, you know, I like to say the Chicago Bulls have nothing on us, right? And they had a 3-peat, you know, we had the 4-peat, and it certainly was good times. It was an explosive growth. And with that, there was a lot of systems, strategies, solutions, and a lot of needs that had to be implemented in order to, well, support that growth. And, you know, that opportunity rolled into a chief innovation officer opportunity, which lasted a couple years as well. And recently I have my broker hat on, and now I got boots on the ground for this exciting time. So, you know, so much of the tech that we're going to talk about is not just from a pedestal of an executive type suite, but also boots on the ground, real world, working with agents and mortgage originators day to day on an ongoing basis. So I'm super pumped to be here and talk about it.
Yeah. And you know, it's an exciting time. It's also kind of a little fearful time for some people because, you know, the conversation always is, okay, am I going to be replaced by AI? So I'm going to let you answer that because I think that's a question that a lot of people, especially real estate agents, if you're a real estate agent, if you're a loan officer listening to our podcast, that's a question that often comes up. So what's your thought on that?
Yeah, look, the short answer is no. AI is not going to replace real estate professionals or mortgage originators, at least not in the foreseeable future. No, I'm kidding. At the end of the day, team, there's so much that we do that goes into it from the each situation, circumstance has its own unique personality. I mean, you have 2 different buyers and sellers, you have 2 different listing agents, buyers agents. The dynamics are too unpredictable for an algorithm to say, here's your end result, here's how we handle this. We're not making French fries, we're not flipping burgers. We're consulting and leading clients in some of their most difficult and important financial decisions of their lives. But I will tell you what's going to replace agents. Agents who don't use AI are going to very quickly be passed by. Not to say they're going to be extinct tomorrow. I'm not a fear-based person. I don't live my life in fear and I don't sell fear, but we have to evolve. We have to pivot. We have to grow. And the agents and the originators that are using AI to just exponentially get their leverage out there, their message out there, their branding out there, their content out there, their systems, streamline their solutions are going to go right past those that aren't using it at breakneck speed.
Well, and it's funny because you have to realize that, you know, and you have to adapt to it. I was actually over the weekend, I was creating some content for a client who's bringing me in it's a 4-hour workshop, and a lot of it is on innovation, you know, a lot of different topics. But a quote that I'm leading with, and it's one of my favorite quotes, it's by Henry Ford. And he says, you know, if I would have asked people what they wanted, they would have said they wanted faster horses.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, when you look at that question, are you going to be replaced by AI? No. But to adapt, as you said, you have to make the adaptation, and you'll get better. You'll be a better real estate agent. You will be a better loan officer. All of the tools. And that's honestly why we started the AI Beehive, Jason, is to be able to provide a directory where you can go and find those tools.
Absolutely.
Leverage those tools where you can say, where can I do this? Because it's going so fast. I mean, I've never seen anything, live through the .com era when Google first started. I was a corporate trainer at Dale Carnegie Training when Google came out for the first time. And I remember we would teach our Sales Advantage course, and people are like, oh my gosh, the internet's going to replace salespeople. I don't even know why we're bothering. It's like, yeah. And here we sit, 35 years later. And if you don't use the internet, well, gosh, it's a little hard to do business as a sales professional, right?
And I'm intrigued at the human psychology of why we even have this conversation of, is AI going to replace me as a real estate professional or replace somebody as a mortgage originator? Sure, that's an initial thought that we're going to have right out the gate. But the fact is, AI is only, let's just say, mainstream. ChatGPT came out, November 2022, where we had full access to it and it
Right.
became more mainstream. If we put that in perspective, ChatGPT has not even celebrated its third birthday yet.
Yeah.
Mm.
So when people say, I haven't grown up with all this technology, I'm 50 years old. I didn't grow up with ChatGPT, but I made the choice to learn it out of curiosity. So anybody that is curious about the platforms, whether it's ChatGPT or large language model, or heck, even using the AI enabled Canva, anything that is expanding your skill set, you then take yourself from being obsolete to being irreplaceable if you know how to do the AI dance with the AI.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Jason, I've read a little bit about you, and I know that you've been working on an AI agent that could possibly help real estate agents. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely, and it certainly has been my pride and joy for the past 6 months. I have just become obsessed with creating solutions that make us bigger, stronger, faster, and able to serve our clients at a higher level. And I'm happy to say, after 6 years of obsession, I finally have peeled back the layer on a platform called Agent IQ Pro, and it's live now in its beta format in a special beta pricing at agentiqpro.ai, and we'll put that in the chat a little bit later. But the ability to have 8 currently and growing powerful tools that are wrapped in a real estate specific user interface that we're all familiar with, and it speaks and understands the language of script, objection handling, role play, CMA, ROI on investments of buying leads, whether you're buying them from a large lead provider or whatnot. The fact that it's GPT enabled, but with a real estate wrapper that knows you as the real estate professional is near and dear to my heart, because I wanted to create it specifically from that perspective, from boots on the ground.
Wow, that's interesting. Can you explain in simple terms how this particular Agent IQ Pro, learns and improves on its own? Because I was fascinated about that when I read about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we all know, or maybe we don't know, that ChatGPT has the learning and memory ability now. So the more you use it, the more it's able to understand your patterns and your behaviors. And in fact, if I may regress for just a quick second, if you are an extensive user of ChatGPT, just type this prompt in and say, based on what you know about me, what goals and objectives am I looking at in the next 12 months, and how should I best prepare for them? You would be surprised how well AI knows you. Scary, maybe, maybe not. Informative at the very least. So as far as Agent IQ Pro is concerned, let's use me for an example, George. I live up here in the beautiful mountains of Lake Arrowhead. We are a mountain community. It's a second home community. We get a lot of investment buyers that come through here. It's not a primary residence for a lot of folks. So as I'm creating a marketing campaign, I could ask GPT, in this particular case, Agent IQ Pro, to say, create a 6-month winter marketing campaign for sellers in my demographic. Fantastic, Jason. In the area of Lake Arrowhead, we know we get X amount of snow in this particular time. Let me go ahead and structure a campaign, whether that be winterizing your home or how to prepare for buyers during the winter. So it learns its behaviors from myself and my demographic. And I think that's that's invaluable to that. The fact that it can learn your behaviors and tailor make itself to your market and speaks your language, it's just GPT on steroids.
Nice.
Well, and that's the thing with ChatGPT, you can make agents, and I have a lot of agents in my ChatGPT that are specific to clients, to projects, and I train them, each of them on, we have one for AI Beehive, I have one for each client. What you've done is you've taken that and you've put it on steroids, because now as a real estate agent, all of that's already baked in to where they don't have to think so much. And I think that's the thing, for a lot of people when they're saying, okay, I got the AI thing, I can dabble around with ChatGPT, but the prompting and how they're setting it up as far as knowing you, it takes some time to do that, and having the knowledge and the patience to be able to do that is hard, because as a real estate agent or loan officer, you're busy, right? You've got a lot of other things you need to do. You don't need to have the time to do that. So having it to where that base is already done is huge.
And I wanted to remove you're 1,000% correct, Ginger. It just having that at your disposal at a very low entry point, meaning I wanted to remove any friction. For example, maybe a specific agent or a loaner officer goes to a meeting or a seminar and they hear, hey, you need to be using AI, or they see somebody on a panel that's just crushing it using AI. 90% of the problem is, how do I show up to this party? How do I get started? And it's the fear of not knowing what to do that keeps so many people on the sidelines. So I wanted to bring that barrier for entry down, reduce any friction points. And in fact, folks can go register with their Gmail account. They don't even need a credit card, and they get the script generator for free. So they can start generating scripts and say, look, I'm working with a for sale by owner who's almost ready to sell, but wants to wait till after summer. Help me come up with a script. And it's going to come up with a specific script to that scenario. So I wanted to eliminate all friction points and let just people get in the game as quickly as possible.
Okay, so I'm going to back into that. So you're saying it'll create the script of what to actually say to someone to get the deal.
1,000%. And see, the onus responsibility is obviously on us to read it, digest it, understand it, use our own inflection and tone, make it our own. So we're not, reading something verbatim, but we can give it a specific scenario. The one I just used, a for sale by owner who's thinking maybe of listing with an agent, but wants to wait and see what happens after the summer selling season. Give me a script specific to that. Ginger, that's just the script side of things. Now, George, we have the ability to take that, drop it into the objection handler, and it starts at neutral. It starts at 50%. And you can, and the Agent IQ Pro will take on the persona of that for sale by owner. And it'll say, I'm just not ready to list, Jason. I want to wait till after summer. And he'll say, okay, fair enough. Your move, Jason. What do you want to say next? And you try to overcome that objection. If you're stuck, you can use the help button and it'll give you some suggestions on what to say. But as you're overcoming the objection, the confidence meter of how well you're doing in this objection handling will go up or down until I've gamified it. So you either win the role play or you lose the role play. If you lose it, try again, try to win, sharpen your skills in the process. So you're not going into these scripts cold. You're just ready to go.
Nice.
So it's helping someone, there's a lot of newer agents. So when you think about that, I just spoke at a conference in Atlanta, and I was amazed, the audience, and there was probably like 80 to 100 real estate agents. And none of them had been in the industry for more than 5 years. It was and I was shocked, because I've been in the industry like you. It's like, we've known each other a long time. And so to have the ability not just to create the script, but have a dialogue and learn from it in handling objections and having that sales conversation, Jason, that in itself is huge. And I'm sorry, that's free, dude.
The script creator is free. If you want to do the objection handling and all that other fun stuff, there is a small cost associated with it.
Thank you.
Luckily, we're in the beta phase right now, so there's some gremlins floating around in there. But based on that, I have the pricing set at $29 a month. So people can just I don't know about you. I went to Jack in the Box the other day. It was $29 and some change. So
Yeah.
less than Jack in the Box, I can actually, which I shouldn't be eating anyway, I can actually get access to that platform to sharpen my skills, create my marketing plan, overcome my objections, check my return on investment, plan out my business plan, whether that be for a week, a quarter, 6 months, or a year. And I'm sorry if I'm rambling. This is
No,
my
it's
baby. I'm so
cool.
proud of it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Ha-
So, do you see it being used in other professions, maybe on the lender side?
Absolutely. And I'm open to feedback. And in fact, on the agentiqpro.ai website, I have a contact me form. And there's also like the standard contact me, like, hey, my billing didn't go through or whatever you deal with. But the other side is there's beta feedback. So if anybody wants a prompt, a suggestion, would like to see a feature, something else, I'm taking suggestions. The suggestion box is open. So if somebody sees a need and needs an AI tool to solve that need, I'm there to create it.
That is
Nice.
cool. Okay, so I want to have a conversation as a real estate agent. And this is one of those things when you think about having a tool like this. Okay, so you can have it for a script. The script can be used for sales. We do, I do a lot of training on how to use the scripts for videos and marketing and stuff like that. And so what other areas besides the script can they use this tool for?
The main thing and the foundation is the business planning. The ability to come in. We do business planning once a year, right? It becomes a hot topic in our industry, usually around January,
Yeah.
should be maybe December. And the ability to, and I'm pulling it up, so bear with me as I'm stumbling a little bit here, is the ability to first and foremost plan your business, but not just a year out, to do it in quarter increments, 6 month
Wow.
increments. You can put in all your particulars in what you want to achieve, and ultimately it'll give you a business plan so granular that it's going to tell you how many contacts you need to make on any given day.
Mm.
So for example, if you say I want to make X amount of dollars, and my average commission is Y amount per closing, and my conversion ratio on leads to appointments is, let's call it 10%. And my conversion ratio of once I'm at an appointment is, let's call it 60%. It will factor all those things and it'll literally give you a dashboard and say, George, you need to make 50 contacts per day based on your ratios if you want to get to this. So it literally has become a no-brainer in what you need to do. So all we need to do is just show up, do our activities, and if we need to make contacts and we're calling expireds that particular day and we don't have a script for that expired, guess what we do? We hop into the platform. In the other tool, we create a script specifically for
Wow.
those expireds. And now we start going through those expireds and getting through to our contacts. Let's say we shifted gears and we're now on the financial part of our day and we're looking at the leads that we purchased from one of the big lead providers. And let's say we spent maybe $20,000 in leads that particular month. We're then going to put in what our closing ratio is, what our net income was from those, and it's going to spit out our ROI. So now we can start structuring our business plan based on not only what our conversion ratio is, but also the leads that we're buying. So it's truly a business by design versus a business by accident in that
Mhm.
regard. The CMA is a great tool. If I am going to go into a listing appointment, and I paused for a second because I was thinking about the listing description tool, but the ability to create a CMA that is just beyond the standard CMA. So, right, agents know we need to get our 3 actives, our 3 pendings, our 3 solds, and from there we're going to formulate some semblance of a CMA. Hopefully it's not too difficult because we have maybe urban areas or more rural areas. We have to combine that. But also what comes up in the conversation when we're at the listing presentation is, well, Zillow said my home this, or realtor.com said my home is that. So now Agent IQ Pro allows you to create a CMA to put in actives, pendings, close, realtor.com's value, Zillow's value. There's a weighted score assigned to that. And I also want to put a start point as, what is the seller's expectation of they're going to list their home for? And then
Wow.
it will give us, and I also ask for actives and pendings and solds days on markets in the creation of the CMA. So it tells us tells us, speak, Jason, tells us if that particular market is going up or if it's cooling based on the days on market and the
Wow.
activity. And it'll give us a valuation in regard to how high or below are we percentage wise in regard to the seller's expectations. That sort of power going into a listing presentation, I am all of a sudden an empowered agent having a conversation with my seller in regard to this is what we need to list it at. Here's why. I also know what you're already thinking because you saw it on the other website. So here's the price points. I'm already eliminating the objections before we even get pinned to contract.
That is huge. And
Correct.
it's funny. I was reading in a book that, again, I was preparing for a course or teaching. So I was doing a lot of research this weekend. And one of the things that I was reading, I think it was John Maxwell. In every conversation, there's a buyer and a seller. And so often as real estate agents, you come into that conversation thinking you're the seller, but you shouldn't be the seller. You should be the buyer. And by having this kind of information at your fingertips with that CMA to go into that conversation that you're having, you're going to be the buyer in the transaction. And then you're going to be able to choose, am I going to choose to do business with you? Are you going to be one of the listings that I'm going to take this year? Are you going to, and it just flips that. And that's the power of having all of this information. Jason, that is huge. I mean, I have never heard of anything that is doing that.
No.
Dude, we got seriously, this is like, we got to get you out of beta and out there. It's like, this is, that, I mean, that's huge. That's taking information to a whole new level.
It's definitely ready. I'm just a perfectionist by nature, and I'm learning as I coach myself, and my coach supports me. It's kind of like, Jason, stop being a perfectionist. Like, get it out there, and you can adjust your sales as you're out to sea, and that's certainly what we're doing. And I'm looking at the tools here. One other one is the ability to create listing descriptions. Now, that's pretty benign, right? That's AI 101. It can help you write listing descriptions. But what I've done is I made it so simple that you essentially just put in the property address, put in a few notes that you have, and incorporate the city that it's in. For example, using the Lake Arrowhead example, and saying, I have a 1935 craftsman style home with 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and it's located a quarter mile from the lake in Lake Arrowhead. Create me a description. It's all of a sudden going to pull from the community information, the schools, the local areas, the restaurants, and it's going to write a description based on that. And so, yeah, role play simulator, CMA, lead follow-up. Did I talk about the marketing campaign builder that you can build a marketing campaign, whether it's text, email? It can create scripts for you. So you can say you want to create a campaign for, seasonal buyers up here in Lake Arrowhead. I can say, create me a campaign for seasonal buyers in Lake Arrowhead who I meet coming through an open house. Like, it's just that specific. Give me email, text, and scripts. And I set the campaign, whether I want to be 1 week, 1 month, or 1 year. And it's going to give me the contact points to email, to text, and to ultimately script as well.
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, first of all, thank you for your brilliance. And the thing of it is, and for those of you who are listening or watching the video, as we're getting into using these tools that are outside ChatGPT and we start bringing them into our business, letting developers like Jason know about, what's working, what you want to see added to it. I mean, it's like we're all testing this together. We're all getting to experience this together. And this is only happening one time, not one time in your lifetime, one time in history that we get to be a part of this. We are experiencing history right now. So hats off to you for having the foresight. Not surprised, especially given the 4 times, fastest growing. And I mean, you've been, the operations and the innovation. I mean, you definitely have the background to say, hey, it can do this. So that's the thing that I love, it's like people are saying, hey, how can I take AI? How can I help other people use it in their livelihood and make their lives better? And it definitely is a tool for you guys who are listening. Hop over. It's agentiqpro.ai. We'll make sure and drop that in there. And then you can give that. And Jason will definitely have you back on because there's so many conversations we can have around AI. Before we do, though, because I know you don't just do AI, so you have your real estate academy. So tell me just a little bit about that and how people can get in touch with you.
Absolutely. So as of, gosh, it's 5 months old now. I spent 2 years waiting for it to be perfect, and then like, stop it, Jason, just go. And so I painted the wall behind me. I got one of these cool YouTube lights, and I figured, you know what, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel because there's so much about this AI and real estate side of things that folks just need to know where to start, how to engage, but it needs to come from a coaching perspective that is leading with an open heart and just so transparent and just has this desire to serve, which, Ginger, you know me, and that's just I have this desire to serve. And I just want to offer, and we'll plug the channel here just in a second, but I wanted to offer a sense of inspiration or motivation for anybody that's watching this and wants to get engaged in the AI side of things. This didn't happen by accident, and it also kind of happened by happenstance in that I didn't just wake up brilliant with AI. And in fact, what happened is in November of 2022, I was laid off as a chief innovation officer from one of the fastest growing real estate companies in the nation. And I immediately came from here to become obsolete overnight. And I know there's a lot of folks struggling with the interest rates and the inventory and what's going on. And I sat with myself and I thought, what can I do to redefine myself to go from obsolete to irreplaceable? And the goal was, let me sharpen my skills, let me be curious. And that's all I did is I led myself with curiosity, which led into reading and into YouTube. And I must have watched thousands upon thousands of YouTube channels and stories. And that led to different things that ultimately led me to starting my own channel, which is Real Estate Academy TV. You can find Real Estate Academy TV on YouTube. It's 5 months old. I post every single day because it is a labor of love. I do at least 30 videos in a month. We're 5 months old and I have several hundred videos on there. So come join me. Let's talk some AI.
Awesome. Oh, my friend, I love you so much. You are absolutely amazing. So guys, make your comments. We have this on our YouTube channel. You can listen to us, share this information. Go to Jason's, go to his realestateacademy.tv. Follow him every day. That is a commitment. And then make sure and check out Agent IQ Pro. And of course, for all of your AI tools, go to aibeehive.com. So Jason, thank you so much. George,
thank you.
And make sure and tune in for our next episode. And thanks so much. Bye, guys.
Thanks so much, team. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the AI Beehive Podcast, where real estate and mortgage pros get the buzz on all things AI. Don't forget to subscribe, share the buzz, and visit www.aibeehive.com to keep building your smarter business. Until next time.